This episode is brought to you by Case File Truth and Deception, based on the hit crime podcast Case File and Goliath. Wealthy businessman Casey Parker has been murdered, and it's up to you to solve the case. Trade evidence with other detectives and get to the bottom of the crime. Who's on your side? Who can't be trusted? Will you be the first to crack the case? Find out in Case File Truth and Deception game. Available online and in stores at Amazon and Walmart.
This episode is brought to you by Casper. The holiday season is here, which means you could probably use some rest. Right now, save up to $800 on cozy, supportive mattresses. Whether you need cooler sleep or a mattress that's soothing yet supportive, Casper can help you sleep like you're not on hosting duty. Join over 2 million happy sleepers with savings up to $800 on mattresses. Sleep like the holidays are over by shopping at Casper.com or a store near you. Exclusions apply. See Casper.com/promo.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all.
Hello, everybody.
We're back. Your favorite podcast is in the house or on the radio.
Yeah.
Or in your AirPods.
Or on your Alexa. Or on your
computer.
iPod. Is there iPods?
No.
Oh.
I hope they're not listening on iPod. That was...
Remember when they used to be like those little tiny little iPods? Like
the
iPods?
MP3 players? Oh, the iPods and the MP3 players.
Excuse me, I don't even know what that is.
Shuffle.
The shuffle. It was so
iPod
tiny.
Shuffle,
it was like
yes.
a little square thing. Oh my gosh.
So y'all don't know this. Wait, what's our podcast called again?
Bloody Happy Hour?
We haven't been here in so long. I almost forgot.
I did forget. Thanks for reminding me.
Thank y'all for tuning in. We have not been in the studio for weeks.
I can't even believe you're even talking about it because it's so depressing.
Caroline almost went crazy.
I did.
Almost. It was
like,
my fault.
DePaul, here I come. I'm coming. I'm coming right now. Because guess what? April had to do.
I had to quarantine. I had literally the COVID.
She did.
But can I tell you the best part?
What?
Me and Trenton had it together. My son.
God.
Literally.
His worst nightmare.
My dream come true.
Your dream come true.
COVID was probably all in my head just so I could be quarantined with him.
Oh.
But he texted us on a Tuesday and he was like, my freaking roommate has symptoms. We have to quarantine. I can't go to practice. And I was like, well, just take the test. You'll be fine, And he was positive. But the night before, he called me up and he was like, Mom, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was sweating to death. Like he had to wash the sheets. They were so bad. And you know what I told him? I was like, oh, you got HIV. It's like, yeah, night sweats.
Well, then I have had HIV for like
your
2
whole
years.
life.
Yeah.
Oh, 2?
Oh, I don't know.
It's been dormant.
But I sleep with it on 65 and I still wake up sweating. I don't know.
Sweats. Well,
Yeah.
he was sweats anyways, but he said his sheets were wet. I didn't even think COVID. I was just like,
sometimes I think it's maybe
positive.
just because I had a sex dream.
That could be it too.
Could be it.
So he tested positive, and then by Wednesday night, I was like coughing, and after my workout, I felt like crap. So then I tested positive, and we got to quarantine together.
Where was Sweet
Well, remember Sweet Pea had just had it?
Yeah.
So he was at the house. Like, we were in our house normal.
Did y'all all three cuddle? Like family cuddle?
No, Sweet Pea wouldn't. Like, he
wasn't about
barely kissed me just the other day.
No. Oh, no.
But no, that was the best. I tried to breastfeed Trenton, but he was like, Mom.
I have teeth. Mom, I have teeth.
Mom,
it's not
we're
happening.
the same age.
Mom, that would be molesting. That would be molestation.
I was like, I think breast milk would help us.
You probably want to drink your own.
It was sweet though. Like I would get up and make us breakfast. He would make us lunch. Like we waited on each other, and then Sweet Pea would come home and make us dinner.
So if I get it, are you gonna come make me breakfast?
I was like, you need antioxidants, so I put blueberry in his oatmeal and blueberries and strawberries and protein.
So you didn't answer my question.
I will, because I have the best immunity.
You heard it here. She's gonna come make me breakfast if I get the COVID. Yeah.
Can you tell me about this case that you've been obsessed about? Like, sum it up. Like, if we need a full episode of it, then we need to do that. But tell me, because
yes,
I haven't followed it.
Okay, so my friend Casey and Chip, they have friends in South Carolina.
Okay.
So Chip is friends with this guy who is friends with this girl who was involved in a boating accident in maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The girl who's in the boating accident was named Mallory Beach. Okay, so she gets in this boating accident where this guy named Paul Murdoch was driving the boat, and he crashes the boat, and she flies off the boat, and they can't find her, and they find her a week later. She ends up dying. Okay.
Oh.
So.
Wait. They find her in the water?
They didn't find her for about a week.
And she was just in the water?
She floated up. Yeah. So she, on the boat crash, she was
dead.
Yes.
Okay.
She was ejected from the boat, and they couldn't find her. They searched and searched.
And then they found her.
A week later, they find her, and she's died.
Okay.
So Chip is they're friends with
her,
the Mallory's sister's husband. Blah,
okay.
blah, blah.
Okay.
So she had been telling me about this case, and they're like, oh, it's crazy. Well, it started to get more crazy because the driver of the boat is named Paul Murdoch. Well, he is like a prominent South Carolina guy. Like his dad is a lawyer, and their family of lawyers, and they've been like, they got lots of money, and he basically can do whatever he wants and get away with it. White privilege. So,
the white girl said that. I didn't.
Yeah, that's right. So he ends up, I'm going to sum it up. Paul, the driver of the boat.
Okay. Murdoch.
Doesn't really get
questioned.
Yeah, he doesn't really get questioned much, and they're not even going to press charge. I don't know. He ends up dying. He gets shot. Him and his mom get shot.
Oh.
So the dad, Alec Murdoch, the dad, ends up finding Paul and Maggie.
Paul's mama.
Paul and Maggie.
Uh-huh.
Find him dead, find him shot at their like second home, whatever. And is like, calls the police. Oh my gosh, they've been shot. And apparently they've been shot with like 2 different guns. And there's speculation that maybe the bodies were placed there and they were shot somewhere else and blah, blah, blah. Oh. So then this is whenever my friend starts to tell me about it. And I'm like, okay, they're like, look into it. Then just over Labor Day weekend, Alec Murdoch, who's the dad who found the mom and the son, he ends up on the side of the road, and he has been shot in the head.
What?
But
how have I not seen that? I mean,
it's just gone completely viral. This one lady who I started listening to her podcast, and her podcast just blew up. She's like #1 on podcasts right now.
Oh my
Murdoch Murders. And so Alec Murdoch, it turns out that they find out in this past week that he had hired somebody to kill him, and so that it would look like a suicide. So then he wanted to get to where his other son, Buster, would get a $10 million insurance policy payout. So he wanted to have himself killed so his son would get this policy. So I mean,
so did he have did he have them killed too? Just so it looks like it's all related?
We don't know.
It looks like their family was targeted.
Then they arrest the guy who he paid for to shoot him. They arrested that guy, and it turns out that this guy has been his like drug dealer, and he is on, I think, amphetamines or pain pills, and he like has this addiction. And then they find out that he's been stealing money from the law firm, and then they find out that he has a former housekeeper who had mysteriously died from a fall, and the housekeeper's kids were supposed to get a settlement like $500,000, and they never got the settlement from 2018, and like that comes out.
Oh
and
my
there's
God.
all this stuff, and then this Alec Murdaugh was arrested just today. He was arrested but it was charges of like conspiracy to commit fraud. Like it has nothing to do with any murders or anything, but because he was embezzling money from his law firm, and then they didn't pay the housekeeper.
Who's Alec?
Alec is the dad.
I thought he got killed.
He got shot in the head, and it ended up
he didn't die.
It ended up being a superficial head wound, so it basically like grazed his head or like grazed his ear or something like that. So he's fine and he's alive and well. Like it didn't kill him. I didn't say that. I forgot to say that.
I got real confused for a second.
I know. So he got shot. They tried to kill him, and they didn't kill him.
Mm-mm.
So he's alive. He just got arrested. I think he just posted bond or whatever. But it's like this
He's
big,
sketchy.
this big, huge thing, and
he killed all them. He killed them all. He's basically a Lori Vallow.
So basically, it's the son is like this privileged kid, and they were drunk, and he was driving the boat, and he crashed it, and he killed that one girl and then he didn't even get prosecuted yet because he hadn't his trial or whatever it hadn't been long enough, and then he ends up like dead. Him and his mom end up dead on the front porch of their house. Like
Daddy did it.
Daddy had a drug problem. He was stealing money.
Never
They're like these powerful.
Trust anybody.
I know.
Especially if they got money.
Moral of the story.
Have you seen anything about this missing girl from Salt Lake City?
No.
It's not as good as, it's the Murdaugh. Like, there's not really as much info as you have, but she and her fiance.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, sorry. She's pouring some red wine.
I'm pouring my South African wine.
Is it South African? Oh, it's menage a trois.
It's considered South African.
Okay.
I just decided.
Why is it considered?
Because that's where Oscar Pistorius is from. That's who we're going to be talking about.
But
it's not.
Oh yeah, we're going to pretend that California is in
Did you
South
not watch
Africa.
my Marco Polo from last night? I said I was going to pretend I was drinking something from South Africa.
Oh. Yep. I
She
do
did
remember.
not watch
I'm so bad.
it.
I did watch it. I just forgot about it.
I'm leaving.
Okay, so wait, she's drinking. She's double fisting.
I just wanted to. My taste buds sometimes like variety. Actually, I think that's just my whole self. I just like a little bit of variety.
Oh yeah.
I like a little skinny girl margarita, and I like a little red wine. So
remember that one
I like a little light, and I like a little dark.
Well, I got me some vodka and coconut bai, but I also got some red wine too. So we're gonna
You're
just
actually double fisting too. What's
Yeah.
coconut bai?
It's bai. The
Like
bai,
bai?
the antioxidant drink. Bai.
Oh, you're trying to get healthy since you got the COVID.
I mean,
Oh.
cocoa fusion.
I would never know how to say that.
I mean,
Bay?
maybe it's bai.
I don't know. We should ask them. Maybe they'll send us some drinks.
So, can you tell us this is the last
It's the last.
Killer Athlete episode? And I know we got one more week in September, but we figured 4 is enough. What we're going to bring you next week is
a good one.
It's a good one. Don't tell them the name.
I'm not. I'm just going to say it's an I Survived.
It's a survivor story.
It's a survivor story.
But this was Caroline's probably second or third podcast to record, and it's just been in the savings account. Like we've just been
the I Survived one.
Yeah, I Survived one.
That's probably that one, and was it Charles Brandt? Do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
The one that we're gonna do the I Survived one and the Charles Brown. Those are the first two I think I listened to. Like full, anyways.
Ever.
They are just
Brant was good.
Yeah,
he was good.
We should do that one.
So and then tell them about our theme for October. October.
We are doing kidnapped, abducted,
and tortured.
And she's singing about tortured. That's why I just said that everybody was in a treehouse underground, and because I've been looking up all these cases of people being kidnapped. Obviously,
and they're in tree houses under the ground, or trees under the ground.
Yeah, like it was like he built.
Is it made out of the roots?
He lifted up this thing, and she was under there.
Oh,
and it's not a tree house. It was just like a
Lovely Bones. Is that love? That's the movie Lovely Bones.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Okay.
And And all
Anyway,
these
I'm excited about this.
torture
We were
chambers and boxes and all kinds of things.
So we were gonna try to do like a haunted / exorcism
gosh. I
but neither
freaked
one
out
of
my
us.
dogs. I know for sure.
We could not get into it.
No.
And I'm a little scaredy cat when it comes to shit like that.
You know, I'm like, they seem dumb, and then they're like creepy, and then I'm like, I don't even really believe it, but I mean, I believe in like
Stuff.
devil stuff, you know, but like it's just weird.
And
then,
it's like a doorway that you kind of don't want to open up.
no, that door is closed.
Can you tell us
I can't stop.
who you're talking about today?
I'm talking about
Who's your athlete?
Oscar Pistorius. He is from South Africa, which is why we are drinking a South African wine today.
Oh, yes.
Let's see how it tastes. It tastes like the one I got from HEB, but it just might not be. I don't know. You'll never know. Maybe if you come mix us a drink, you'll find out.
I'm excited because I didn't research the story, so I'm going to have a genuine reaction.
At first, I was like, this is boring. But then it's not. So
Okay.
get ready. So let me start off with a track star made headlines of a different kind in February 2013 after his girlfriend, 29-year-old South African model Reeva Steenkamp, was found dead at his home in Pretoria, South Africa. So according to police, Steenkamp was shot and killed on the morning of February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh.
But the question is, was it premeditated murder or was this a case of mistaken identity?
Okay.
Either
Okay.
way, the story made headlines all over the world, and it wasn't about Reeva Steenkamp. She was not the name that was remembered. It was the name of her killer, Oscar Pistorius,
Also known as
the Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
So while researching this case, a lot of the articles just glazed over her, over the victim.
That sucks.
I know. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. She's beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful model, but that's not all she's known for. That's kind of all they say. It's like, oh, his model girlfriend, his model girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. So she was super smart, super driven. She was pursuing a career in modeling, but she also had her law degree, and she graduated at the top of her class in law school.
Head.
So first of all, goals.
Yeah.
I know. So she also was the face of anti-bullying campaigns, and she started to speak to young girls about empowering them to stand up against rape and against violence against women.
Oh, we need her here.
I know. So, but what's crazy is that around this time in South Africa, which, you know, I live under a rock and maybe you do too. I don't know about how South African, I don't know about how things go there, but apparently at this time they were called, and I quote, because this is what I got from Wikipedia, in 2012, they were the rape capital of the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it says that less than 1% of the rapes that occurred were reported to police, and that 1 in 4 women were physically abused by their partner, and every 6 hours a woman was killed by her current or former partner.
Oh, did she live? Is she from there? Model?
Yeah.
She was from there. Like she was an American that went over there. She was there from there, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, I'm for sure.
Okay.
Why do you need to ask these questions like that? I'm just
Sorry.
Look it up. Okay, so who is Oscar Pistorius? I'll tell you now. Not only is it Oscar Pistorius, he has 2 first name, middle names. So he's Oscar Leonard Carl Pistorius.
Ooh.
I know. Anyways, he was born November 22nd, 1986 with fibular hemimelia.
Okay.
I'm only going to say that once.
Okay.
We're going to call it FH. I don't refer
FH.
to, I don't
Okay.
refer to it much. But he had this in both of his legs. And it's a very rare, non-traceable genetic. There's no genetic link to his parents. So the cause of it's not clear. And he basically had he was missing his fibulas in both of his legs. So
Wow.
that's on your shin. That's right.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
Tibia, fibula.
yeah. So that's what this.
So he
disorder
had his
is.
tibia,
He had his tibia, but
but
didn't
that's
his
not
fibula.
enough. That can't hold you up.
No. So he basically had, for what he had was super short fibulas. And his ankles were only half formed. Okay. And his heels faced sideways instead of down. parallel to the Achilles tendon. So, I know, last thing I'm going to describe to you is the insteps of his feet were not convex but concave, meaning they were in the shape of a boat, not the shape of an arch.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm doing
His fascia.
Yeah. And so, also, this is my favorite part, is he was born with 2 toes. Remember from our fun fact that you gave?
Yes.
What do you do if you have 2 toes?
You run
extra fast. So if I would have been there when he was born and I saw 2 toes, I'd been like,
keep him.
he gonna run fast.
He gonna run real fast.
So his parents had the choice between doing amputation or surgery, and they consulted several doctors, and they all had different opinions, and they were trying to figure out what the best option was to do. So they were told it would be easier to remove his limbs below the knee rather than to have several corrective surgeries for the rest of his life, because they're like, that would mean he would, if he had corrective surgery, he would have to basically lengthen his legs and remold his feet.
Just because he was not going to let it hold him back.
But then his doctors were like, maybe you need to choose a non-contact sport.
Okay.
So that's what he did. He started running track.
Okay.
So he got his first pair of racing blades, which were the Flex Foot Cheetos, which are like lightweight carbon fiber, those little, the picture of those little feet.
Yeah.
And then within a few months, in the 2004 Athens Paralympics, he was nicknamed, or he captured the gold medal, and that's when he was nicknamed the Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Because of his prosthetics that he wore. I don't remember anything about it. I know all about it now, though. He became a figure.
That's weird because you're a big Olympic
I know.
person.
I never had heard of him.
Okay.
I don't know. So he was like super inspiring. He was doing the most. He became a 4-time Paralympic champion, and in 2011 World Championships in Athletics, Pistorius became the first amputee to win a non-disabled world track medal. I had to make sure I get that right.
Love him so far. Like, he's doing great things.
And then when he really made Olympic history was in 2012, whenever he became the first ever double amputee to compete in the track events at the Olympics. So not Paralympics, but the Olympics.
Real Olympics.
So he's been doing the most. He's
legit.
accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
You got to give it to him. But
his parents were probably 100% proud.
Until the following year.
So 2013.
He was arrested for killing his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp, at his home. However, let me go back to tell you about his legs, how they did become, or his artificial legs, they became like a source of controversy in 2007. Like, there was this big thing with IAAF, which is the International Association of Athletics Federation. Or foundations, and they said that him having his artificial legs was an unfair advantage.
Okay, I remember having this conversation too, because I used to be like this avid runner, marathoner, and I would always like run for time. I wasn't like Olympic at all, but what would hold me back wasn't my lungs, it was my knees. Like my knees. And right now I can't even run because my knees are so bad. But I remember thinking, I should just, if I just chopped off my legs and got me some good metal ones, I wouldn't have any of that knee, ankle, feet.
Yeah.
You lose your toenails, pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that was now advantage.
Right.
But
I would think like, with your soreness and like getting cramps and all that stuff. Like, that's what I would think, but I'm no scientist.
Yeah, and I'm no amputee at all.
So they did this thing, and Pistorius, he appealed it. Like, it kept him from like competing in several events. And then a year later, in May 2008, they overturned the IAAF decision, and they said this actually gives you some insight into the kind of person that he was, because he wasn't taking no for an answer. So they were telling him he couldn't compete. He was like, no, I'm going to fight this.
Screw you. I don't got legs.
Yeah.
Let me run the way I know how.
So did Did I even go into that? He basically, he fought them and won. So I could go into detail about it, but, he eventually won. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were scientists and there were people, they did all these tests, and they found out that what the disadvantage of having the carbon fiber feed is that you don't get all the power, like whenever you're, because especially it's different than if you're doing like I guess different distance and stuff. Like you don't get the push off of the blocks like you would if you're a regular
sprinter
or whatever.
Yeah. Was he a sprinter?
Yes.
Okay.
100, 200, 400.
Okay. Oh shoot.
I know 400 is the worst.
Mm-mm.
I can't really do that. So he became, after all of this, he's winning all these medals. He fought and he won against the IAF. Like he's starting to become this like celebrity type of figure. And he's athletic, he's charismatic, he's very good looking. Okay. Mm-hmm. Reeva Steenkamp. Okay, so this is where he meets his girlfriend, and now we have this super hot couple, and with this model, with this incredible athlete. It's like, some say it's like the South African version of, Giselle and Tom Brady, because I am loving some Tom Brady with his, he got that good jawline.
Is he the one that's at the Buccaneers now?
Oh.
Is that him?
Yes.
Okay.
He was with the Patriots for forever. Yeah. I didn't like him when he was over there, but let me tell you, every time he posts on Twitter and posts his little football things, like, let's go. And I'm like, oh, let's go, Tom Brady.
Do you love him because he's cute or because he's a winner?
I love him because he's a very great jawline. He has dimples and he's athletic. What is not to like? Okay. And he's funny. We've talked. No, we haven't, but I think he's funny. So, Reeva Steenkamp. Okay, so they have a very short but a very intense relationship. So it turns out that, shocking, Pistorius was very different in private than he was in public. He was controlling, he was aggressive, he was narcissistic, and he made everything about him. So after only 4 months of dating, 4 months, he actually had this like long list of rules for Reeva. I always get people with rules. I don't have the list, but this is just what I've been told. But at the trial, they have like text messages that come out that just reveal how controlling he is and just like how like aggressive and narcissistic he is. And from some of the texts, he had accused her of cheating on him, on doing drugs, and how he like threw out how she used to sleep around, and he would like just always say that to her, like, before we dated, you were sleeping with these guys and you were a hoe and you were this and you were that. And he just kept throwing it in her face. And she would like respond to him, constantly defending herself, saying, quote, these are some of the text messages. She says, I'm not a liar or some other bitch. And she used bitch in quotes because apparently from what we look at, like they were like, it seems like that's how he would talk to her, like he would call her a bitch, and so that's why she's saying that in this text message. Okay. And she says, you may think I'm trying to kill your vibe, but I'm not a hoe. And these are the type of messages that she's sending him, and they're going back and forth.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's not like she's not trying to use this like bitch word, like that's just what he calls her, I guess. Okay. So the worst part about it is that it seems like he has this like complete double standard. Do you know what the Madonna whore complex is? What?
No, I love her. She could be a whore.
No, if you Google it right now, it's called a Madonna whore complex.
What is it? I love her.
Okay. But it's nothing to do with her. I think it just means like okay. So basically he thinks.
I hope I got it. Let's see.
No, you don't have it.
Okay.
He is, okay, let me read what I have.
Wait, he has it or she has it?
He has it.
Oh, hell.
So he has this complex towards women. So, okay, he has this, let me just read what I have. He has this complex towards women along with a splash and a sense of entitlement, and he uses his fame to sleep around with other women. So, this is when a man lusts like sexually for a beautiful woman, okay, but he will never respect her as his wife. And like he's like, she's not wife material. I will never marry her because in his eyes, she's always tainted and impure and unworthy of the status of being a wife. So basically, it's this thing of like, he's struggling to be with her because he's created these characteristics of her in his head. And although he possesses these passionate feelings towards her, they're also contradictory.
Oh my God. I think I have some friends that's like.
Look, you Google that, because I didn't know. I just was like reading things and they're like, he has this.
Is that from the DSM 5, 6, 7, 8?
I don't know. You might need to text
Casey.
Casey.
We need to get Casey on here.
I know. She would probably know. She would know. She's a psychologist. So let me just tell you.
I love that complex.
I know. We should talk about it more.
Wow.
Do you understand what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I thought it. Okay. So I kind of
wanted to have it, but it refers to males.
I mean, I'm sure you could have it as
Madonna whore.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a whore for Madonna.
For Halloween. Madonna whore?
A whore for Madonna.
It's Madonna whore complex. You're in a relationship with this person. You're like, they're awesome, they're amazing, they're beautiful, but they are not ever going to be good enough to be my spouse.
They meet your criteria.
They meet all the looks of my criteria, but I'm like, it's not like she's just some like dumb blonde. Like, she's gorgeous and she's super smart.
You're literally not going to get anybody better.
No.
So
why don't you just
their issue?
Go sit on the track. I don't know. Okay,
get off the gas.
A couple of examples of his control was the first time that Reeva was at one of her best friend's house. She was at her best friend's engagement party, and she says, these are part of the text messages. She wants to stay longer. She's enjoying herself, and she's like, you've picked on me incessantly since you got back from Cape Town, and I understand that you are sick. That comes up later. But what you were doing to me is just nasty. I was not flirting with anyone today, and I feel sick that you suggested that and you made a scene at the table and you made us leave. Terribly disappointed with the day and how you left me. So this is what she's texted him. This is like all that's coming out in the trial.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like she's trying to relay how horrible he's being and probably hoping he'll change his behavior in some way.
Nope.
But
no.
We know he isn't because they never do, ever. Another time that they were in the car and a friend, I guess, like, she asked a friend to like change the song. She's like, change the song. And they get home and he like flips out on her. He's like, I can't believe you asked him to change that song. I'm the one who told him to put that song on.
Oh, God.
And like made this big thing about it. And he's like, how dare you do that? How dare you do that? And I'm like, calm the fuck down, bro. Like, what? This is what she's doing. She's dealing with. She's walking on eggshells daily.
No. She
is like, doesn't know what she's going to do or say that's going to piss him off. And, you know, this is the thing. So there's no physical abuse in this relationship. He never hit her, but he doesn't need to. And this is where
verbal abuse.
It gets confusing because not only is she like, she is this person who stands up for anti-bullying and she's like against domestic, like she knows the signs.
Yeah.
So the point that I'm making here is you might be a super smart person and you might know these things, what to look for, but when you're in it, I mean,
it's
maybe
different.
I may have experienced.
Wait, have you lived anything like this? Are you? I mean, it's a little personal.
I mean, it's probably pretty close.
But you know what? You also think, oh, this happens to other people. It doesn't really happen to me. Like, there's a great explanation. It's going to be different next time. Like, you just have all these things that you say.
Yes.
Oh
so gosh. It's like what resonated with me is that she's like, has this total mind fuck. She's just like, is this happening right now? Like, is this really happening? I mean, I don't know.
Are we having this argument?
Like, for...
Gosh. That's a stupid thing to have an argument about.
Well, I
changing the song.
Yeah. So I think that for the way I saw it was like whenever my let me just say go to myself real fast. Whenever my parents received a letter from my ex's family before we were even like engaged, like they received this letter and it was like stay away from him. Oh my gosh, do you not
Stay
know
away,
about this?
stay alive.
No.
A letter? No, I thought the letter came from the news
no.
lady.
No. This was like way before. This was before we were even engaged. Like this was like somebody sent a letter to my dad's house.
Okay.
And it like was this long letter.
Oh, but they would never let you read it.
No,
Oh,
I
you
read it.
Okay.
You must not know about this.
No.
It was just saying how he's a liar. He stole money from his grandma. He did this. Stay away. But it was not. It was anonymous.
Okay.
We didn't know who it was. And we had lunch. I had lunch with my dad, and he'd like give it to me, and I was just like, "That's not real. That's dumb."
But you thought it was News Girl.
No. This is way before that.
Okay.
My point is,
you
can be in the situation, and you can. There's obvious signs and red flags, and you for some reason think that it's okay, and even though if it was anybody else and you're telling
that you
them,
could fix them.
Yeah. So that's.
Bitch, I need to see this letter.
I know. I can't believe it.
I'm coming over.
I mean,
end podcast now. We will. You'll have here part 2 next week. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so she's having to deal with this stuff, and like I said, she's raising awareness about domestic violence. Like she is all about how to not have women in abusive relationships, and she finds herself in one, and it's hard, like I said, for people to understand, but it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And I already said this. No matter your intelligence or knowledge of a specific issue, you can still fall victim of an insane and abusive relationship. And especially with you're dealing with somebody who's super manipulative, charismatic, charming, anyone can end up in this type of relationship.
Oh yeah.
Mic drop. But I'm just assuming the sex was really good.
Maybe.
Let's insert a joke somewhere.
Perhaps.
I mean, whatever. So let's fast forward to the death and the murder charge. Okay. So in just 4 months, like I said, they have just been dating for 4 months. And Reeva's dead. She's killed the morning of February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. And she was shot. There's 4 bullet wounds. So Pistorius claims that this was an accident. He thought he was shooting an intruder. Okay.
Yes.
And no matter what, there's no doubt that he shot and killed her. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's arrested. So 5 days after her death, there's a hearing, and Pistorius says he unintentionally shot her, and that he thought it was an intruder, that they had come in and they were in the bathroom, and so his charges are that he faces like premeditated murder.
So premeditated.
Yes, which would result in a mandatory life sentence if you got a guilty verdict. So on March 3rd, 2014.
Wait, but what made it premeditated again? Like what?
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
On March 3rd, 2014, the trial begins. So in addition to being charged with premeditated murder, Pistorius also faced 2 separate gun charges from different unrelated indictments to the death of his girlfriend. I don't know what these gun charges are. He pled not guilty to all the charges. He claimed that it was around 10 p.m. that he and Reeva were getting ready for bed. His air conditioner wasn't working, so he opened like the balcony doors to get a breeze in there. And so he said he woke up in the middle of the night, and he's like, oh, it's getting kind of hot. And he put like fans outside. So he's like, let me bring the fans inside.
Yeah. So
he then says he heard a noise in the bathroom, and he sounded like somebody was in there. So I guess this is around the time where he's like super famous, and so he's always thinking somebody's trying to break into his apartment. I don't know. So and he grew up around guns. Like his mom had a gun. Did I tell you about his mom? Well, his mom had a gun. Like she would sleep with a gun because whenever they got divorced, she was always scared to be alone. So she had a gun always around. So then he had a gun always around. That's why he had a gun in his nightstand. So he says he gets the gun from his nightstand, and he told Reeva to call 911. Thinks, okay, somebody's in the bathroom. So he runs over to the bathroom on his stumps. He ain't even got his legs on. He run on stumps. Oh, gosh. He had to demonstrate this in court.
Oh, gosh.
And I laughed.
I remember there being reenactments.
I did laugh because I was like, that's what you get. You got to run them on your damn stumps because you be killing people.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
So he says he ran over the bathroom on his stumps. He wasn't wearing his prosthetics. And because he was in bed sleeping, he stood in front of the bathroom door. He's like terrified. He thinks there's an intruder in the bathroom. And he was like thinking he's going to get attacked. And it's all about him. You know, he heard another noise and then just all of a sudden started shooting into the bathroom. The doors closed. He just 4 shots. 1, 2, 3, 4 shoots in the bathroom. Okay. I guess you
he thinks Reeva is calling the police because he says he told her.
Yes.
But she would be in the bed. Like you'd be able to
that's why
feel and see that she is or
that's
is
why
not
this
in the
is
bed.
his story, because this is not what happened. Clearly.
Did you believe it a little bit?
I
think I did for a minute when it was happening.
Well, I don't know about it when it was happening. I just knew about it when I read or heard about it. Well, I was like,
when it all came out, like I think I remember, okay, this could be a little believable.
Yeah, but no.
For 1 second.
Yeah, but no.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't rap, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.
So then okay, so after he fired the 4 shots into the bathroom door, the closed bathroom door. It's funny because, anyways, they call it the toilet door. And I was like, oh, really? She's in the toilet. I don't know the accent of the South Africans.
No.
So all I know is that, she was in the toilet. No, bathroom. Anyway, so he goes back into the bedroom and to get Reeva, and he's like, she wasn't there. Oh, where was she? Oh, then it occurred to him, maybe she was in the bathroom. Oh my gosh. So he went and he's like, I gotta put my legs on. So we went and put his legs on. He grabbed a bat.
Why?
Not an animal, a bat, like a wooden bat.
Yeah. Why?
Because he was gonna go break down the bathroom door. Because he was like, maybe Reeva's in there. Because now that she's not in the bed.
Was the door locked?
The door was closed and the door was locked. That's why I guess he never tried to open it until after he realized that she was not in the bed. Maybe she's in the bathroom. He couldn't get the door open because it's locked. Because if you go to the real story, they were having a fight and she's locked herself in the bathroom. But his fake story says there's an intruder.
Okay.
So he has to go get this bat because he can't kick down the door because he got peg legs. So he can't kick down the door. Now I'm talking shit. So he had to go put on his damn legs, go get a bat, try to knock down the door. Yes, to get in there. And he says that he finds her and there she is, dead in the bathroom. He grabs her, he holds her, he's hysterically crying. And while he's on the stand giving his testimony, he was crying the whole time.
Was it genuine? Did you watch the video?
No, I did not see a video, but that's what I heard, that he was crying the whole time. And he even vomited.
Yes. Oh, no. Motherfucker took some Epicac. Those drops you give, like if kids like get into like Comet cleaner or bleach or something, there's these drops you can make them swallow and it makes them instantly throw up.
Oh yeah,
that's what he did.
He definitely took him some Epicac. I like that. I'm gonna name my first kid that Epicac. So like I said, he's basically, his story is there's an intruder in the bathroom and that poses an immediate threat to him and Reeva, and so he's gonna kill them. That's what he says. So at the beginning of the trial, he directly apologizes to Reeva's family. He's saying he wakes up every morning and the first thing he does is think about her and thinks about, he says, I was trying to protect Reeva. And when she went to bed, she felt so loved. And now I just vomited.
Oh my God.
Like, do they really want to hear that?
No.
You just obviously shot her. So,
Okay. So the, sorry, I'm double fisting. So sometimes I need to like bounce back and
usually
review.
I'm so slow, but I'm going.
No, I know it's my brain.
I know.
Isn't there.
Now you know how I feel.
Okay, so all the text messages where they're going back and forth and arguing, does it line up like with this night?
It just basically the point of the text messages is to, I think,
Show his
his
character.
character.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but we don't know like what actually, there wasn't anything that was introduced that actually like might have went on that night. Like if there was
There's
arguing.
a few things that coming up as far as like some of the neighbors, and they heard screams at certain times and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's him versus nobody. You know,
Yeah.
it's just his story versus
Yeah.
nothing else.
Yeah, nothing to back it up.
But the evidence, and yeah.
Okay.
So he went on to he's doing his testimony. He goes on to talk about how they had such a great relationship and how much they loved each other and how beautiful she was. And he reads these loving text messages and cards and stuff that they'd written each other, and he's laying it on real thick. So then it's the prosecutor's turn, and there's this prosecutor is named the Pitbull, so it must be pretty scary.
Okay.
So he brought in Pistorius' neighbor, Michelle Berger, who she testifies saying that she heard this blood-curdling scream from a woman on the night of the murder and that she heard 4 gunshots. So the scenario undermines the defense's story that Pistorius said he had an unknown stranger in the bathroom before the shooting, and it just is like, well, are you sure you heard the gunshots, or was it like the bat hitting the door, or was it like, are you sure that it was really a woman screaming? It could have been a man screaming, and blah, blah, blah. So the defense tries to like say that her story is irrelevant and blah, blah, blah. But the worst, this is the worst. The bullets in the gun are called hollow point bullets. Do you know what those are? Because I did not. This is basically where the bullet explodes inside of you, and it like tears you up. So it's almost
Did all the bullets
like,
hit her?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So it's like releasing shrapnel.
Yeah.
Inside your body, and like just everything. So, and she was hit with this bullet 4 times. And
wow.
So basically what they're saying is you're shooting to kill. It was determined. So the first shot hit her upper thigh.
You are like, okay, even if you just have a bullet to protect yourself or a gun, a lot of people do, right? Have a gun, protect yourself. It's even normal to have it somewhere by the bed if you don't have kids so that you can get to it, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
But to have one of those bullets that you know exactly what they do.
I know.
And it's not like in a deer rifle or something. No, you wouldn't even do it in a deer because then you'd have to eat all the damn shrapnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
First bullet
He
hit,
bought that shit for her.
Well, and it goes on to say that like he's like familiar with guns, and he's like been to shooting ranges and stuff like that. And so, I mean, obviously if you have this type of bullet, you know what you have.
Yeah.
So the first one hit her upper thigh, the second one hit her arm, the third and fourth one hit her right temple. So she was like immediately.
Yeah.
Then there's this forensicologist. I made that up.
Oh, new
It's a new word.
vocab.
I know.
Forensicologist.
I think it means you need a drink when I have a new word.
Okay.
Which is like all the time.
I just
And
did.
this basically describes how the sequence of the shots, that there was a delay and that she wasn't hit in rapid succession. So this kind of goes to where they can prove their case. They say that after the first shot in the leg, she would have screamed, and then the second and third and fourth shots would have hit her as she was falling, which say which they say proves a delay between the shots fired. Okay, but was there a delay? If he shoots her once, she would have like she's screaming, she's falling.
Yeah.
So I don't think you could have, shot her then in the head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And so they basically accuse.
Or she screamed and he knew she was still alive. So he was like, oh, let me keep on.
They say that the first shot in the leg, she would have screamed, and the second and the third and the fourth shots hit her as she's falling, which they say proves the delay between shots fired. So prosecutors within the trial accused Pistorius of having argued. So this is what they say they think happened, that they were having an argument and that she locked herself in the bathroom and that she was up against the bathroom door, facing the door, most likely trying to stop him from getting in.
Yeah.
And then he goes into a rage, goes to get his gun from the bedroom, and then shoots her. And most likely she had gone in there to create like a barrier between him and her.
Agreed.
To get away. Okay.
Agreed.
So that's most likely
literally what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Who was in that bathroom? Somebody was there.
Who was there?
I'm just saying that's what happened. They had to have been there.
Yeah. So now they close the case. Prosecutors bring up the text messages and the exchanges and how they made a huge impact on Reeva 3 weeks before the murder. And this is another one that she says, quote, "We are living in a double standard relationship. You can be mad at me about how I deal with stuff when you are very quick to act calm. You do everything to throw tantrums in front of people. I have been upset with you for 2 days now. I'm scared of you sometimes and how you snap at me and how you will react to me."
Shit.
That is a exact text message.
Yep.
So the defense says that they have text messages and CCTV and how, they're a loving relationship. We've done all this. And
I don't remember what the CCTV was. Okay.
I think it just... Maybe just if they're like out
Arguing
and they'll just like if
in public.
I think what they're saying is that there's video of how y'all are loving on each other or holding hands or walking and acting fine, and they're just trying to say you had a loving relationship like that never happened.
No. Okay.
And they're like, does this really look like an abusive relationship? And that's what goes back to where you can't really tell in public what an abusive relationship looks like. But yes, that's exactly what it does look like. You can't tell.
Yeah.
So the lawyers, they call this, Pistorius's lawyers call a psychiatrist to testify because apparently remember how earlier I said, like she, in one of her text messages, she says, "I'm sorry that you're sick." Well, he has generalized anxiety disorder, which I don't know, I guess. It is what it is.
Okay.
Basically, when she says the psychiatrist,
you know
says,
what that was? That was his way of excusing his behavior.
Yes.
Well, I've been diagnosed with this.
Yes.
I'm sick. Forgive me.
Yes.
Forgive me.
Yes. So that's why they're like, this is why he had an overreaction, which led to impaired judgment, and he shouldn't be held accountable. Okay. Then wait till you hear about this judge. Judge Masipa. Is
he from West?
Probably. She was like, okay, well, let's give you a full mental health evaluation and we'll figure out what's going on. Well, it was determined that he did not have an anxiety disorder. What a shock. So then on September 12th, Judge Masipa, okay, they have no jury system in South Africa. I did not know that. There's no jury system. So
it's judge only?
It's the judge.
What?
And this is a lady judge. And Pistorius is famous, and he's wealthy, and he's white.
Okay.
So she declares Pistorius not guilty.
What?
Okay, gets crazy. On the count of premeditated murder, he's not guilty. However, he was found guilty on culpable homicide, which could be manslaughter or negligent homicide, and that the shooting was accidental and that he did not intend to kill Reeva. So everyone is pissed. Everyone's pissed.
Because Reeva's life did not matter.
Yes, because apparently this was a trial to give South Africa an opportunity to prove that their judicial system was
You
not
did
corrupt.
so good with that word.
I almost
it
had a
had
stroke.
no R's.
I know. But they were like, they were pissed because they're like, we're trying to prove that our system is not corrupt. But since he's white, rich, and famous, he gets away with murder.
And he's represented and like made our country real famous. And
Yep. So the judge goes on to say that, quote, listen, his behavior immediately after the shooting was inconsistent with the conduct of someone that had intended murder. He yelled for help. He called 911 and couldn't speak because he was crying so hard. He prayed to God to save the victim's life and was even seen trying to resuscitate her. He pleaded with the doctors to help and he was distraught. From this, it can't be said that he didn't believe he was shooting an intruder in the bathroom. That was a long
So
quote.
basically, he should have an acting career because
Yes, and
did
I even
everything right
also
and
read
acted
that
it
he
out.
did take like acting classes before this.
Yes, he got in the scene.
So he's sentenced to 5 years in prison. But wait, there's more. There's
Reeva.
more. Okay, that was September 12th, 2014. Then we have October 2015. Pistorius was released from prison
Oh wait, this is 1 month. Wait, what's the first date?
September 2014. And
Okay.
and then we have October 2015.
Okay, a
So
year.
he's sentenced to 5 years, which that's whatever you can really, how long you really have to serve. So in 2015, he's released from prison. He's placed under house arrest and correctional supervision for 4 years. Okay.
Oh God.
So then we come to, so that was October 2015. Now we go to December 2015, appeals and new sentences. So the top appeals court in South Africa overturned the culpable homicide verdict. They were like, yeah, maybe that was a bad decision. So guilty of murder.
Oh.
But once again, Judge Masipa is still the same one who's going to give him another sentence. But it's like, you just are the one that gave him the first sentence.
Yeah.
Why would it change from anything you would do the first time? Why would it change? So she goes on to say, here's another quote. Long-term imprisonment will not serve justice in this matter. The accused has already served 12 months in prison.
Oh.
He is the first offender and he will likely not offend again. So she
no
gives him a 6-year term, which is adding an additional 1 year to the sentence. Okay. However,
I can't.
this sentence was condemned by the South African National Prosecuting Attorney on the grounds of that it was far too lenient and
Yes, because
appropriate
every
to the
white
crime.
guy with no legs is going to kill their girlfriend.
And then in September 2017, okay, so this happened in 14. We're already in 2017. It was announced the Supreme Court of Appeals would hear the state's argument against the 6-year murder sentence, and they would have to go back to court in November. So finally, we get to November 2017. Lord of mercy. The South African Supreme Court of Appeal handed down a new sentence of 15 years minus time served. So he would be 13 years. So which would be 13 years and 5 months remaining to the fallen sports hero. So
Okay.
upon delivering this verdict, this other court justice, Willie Seritidi, said that Pistorius failed to explain in multiple court hearings why he fired the fatal shot. So he did not have any remorse
Yeah.
at all. And so he's like, the sentence of 6 years imprisonment was shockingly lenient to the point that the effect was trivializing to this serious offense. So basically, after he got sentenced for 5 years and he got sentenced for that extra year, that was all thrown. He finally got this 13-year sentence, and they were like, the family of Reeva was like, they feel like there is justice that's been served. She can now rest in peace. He's guilty. He's in prison, and Pistorius will not be eligible for parole until 2023.
Okay, so he's got 2 more years.
Yes. So he is finally there. He's in jail.
So the ending was 13 years.
Yes. Well, the sentence would be total of 15 years.
But he had already
less
served.
time served.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh.
Much better than 5.
Yeah.
Because we know he done did it. I wonder if, well, yeah, he has to be in there.
So
with
is
his
it
legs.
money? Is it white privilege? Is it the fact that he had a disability that like he's the best defense?
I don't know anything about
person
like South
ever.
Africa, but like apparently
or their
they're-
justice system too.
Well, I mean, if they're the #1 rape capital and they have like all this, you know, they don't nothing. If they report something, they don't do anything about it. I guess,
and they
just-
probably see much worse. I mean, really, they probably do.
yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy, but I felt like Ray Caruth got more time than he did, and he just
Well,
hired somebody to kill. But Oscar actually killed.
I don't know. Everything it's so there's people. There's a case in Florida who
It's
somebody
Florida.
was I know like somebody was with the person who killed him and they got the life sentence and they didn't do anything. They were just with the person and they knew about it and they didn't say anything. I guess I mean, but still, like, it's just crazy how they're so. I have no idea what is normal, not normal. It's just Oscar Pistorius.
Oh
Way
my
to go, Blade
God,
Runner.
that was a good story.
Just you need to see what these people look like because they're pretty beautiful. Really, it's really her. He's stupid.
He is stupid. He was a good-looking stupid, but it's ridiculous.
I know.
Redonkulous. That was a good story. You did so good. That ended they are beautiful.
I know.
Swipe right and swipe right. Poor Reeva. Reeva's life matters. And so I'm glad her family.
We got into so much. We got into domestic abuse. I told you about the letter you had no idea about. We almost had to stop the
jumped back and
podcast.
forth. Yeah, we almost ended it.
We had South African wine.
We did.
And now, guess what? We have, I don't know, I'm sure you don't, but I have football I get to go watch.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I got to figure out my fantasy lineup.
Okay. Well, there is your last killer athlete, and we're going to give these athletes a break for a while. We still have some to cover later on, but that's enough because we're moving to
Kidnapped,
and tortured.
abducted, and tortured.
Yes.
And listen,
They're so juicy.
You can suggest some stuff. You can come up with your thoughts on how you liked these stories, and you can tell us all the things. You can email us, you can Twitter us, you can Instagram us, you can Facebook us. Just do it and tell your friends.
Yeah.
And you can come mix us some drinks because we get thirsty.
We get real thirsty.
And I want to say that I am really proud of myself for not talking real slow. Sometimes I try to speed it up on my phone when I'm listening to it to like 1.5, but then I just sound like a mouse.
I think I'm real slow. Like I have like maybe a processing disorder
no,
where
I do.
have to think
Let's fight about it.
real long.
I have a disorder where it's like I read it and then it comes into my brain, but then it takes a long time to come out of my mouth. So let me tell you about all the bad things about me.
No, you're fine.
I know.
You are perfect.
I'm gonna go be introduced into my Hall of Fame tomorrow. So
Are you really? Did you make it?
I did.
Who called you? Did Shane call you?
Who's Shane?
The new, I guess he's football. Who called you? We literally just talked about that on the Baylor, on Patrick Dennehy podcast.
I don't remember. I was drinking.
About you being inducted and that you never could.
Oh my
it's
gosh. It's happening tomorrow. Yes. Do you want to come? I have one more ticket.
Is it, we're at the Midway game?
Yeah.
What? Can you video it?
I don't know. It's like people have tagged me on it. There's like been a Facebook post, like Midway made a Facebook post.
I have a cousin playing, so I'm going to ask Sweepy if he wants to go. He
is-
probably does want to go watch you go.
This is how I feel about it. I'm like, you know, typically you'd have like, oh, I want to bring my little family, like my husband and my wife and my kids.
Are you bringing Parker?
Because we have to walk out to the field.
You've been waiting on that.
Yeah, but I have to walk out there with like my parents. That's real bad.
Oh, that's exciting. I'm excited for you. Caroline is being inducted in her high school Hall of Fame. If they listened to the one podcast where you thought Delaware was Part of America, like we didn't know the states. They would probably be like.
3 podcasts before that, I said that I was like a geography teacher.
I know hurry up and get it. So
it's
that
because
they don't
I was
think
a
of it.
substitute teacher. That's exactly why they were like, you know what? She was a substitute teacher for at least 5 months. We're gonna put her in.
Wait, we're gonna give her. No, but you had state records.
I know. It's about time.
Has anybody beat it?
My midway record?
Yeah.
No, I still hold it.
Oh yeah, you should have been there. Okay. So thank y'all for listening. Next week you got a random show, so don't be waiting for some athletes. Come October, we got some good juicy ones for you. So keep subscribing, keep rating, keep reviewing, and always stay aware. She ain't paying attention. Always.
No, stay aware.
Stay alive.
And always be DTF.
Bye, y'all.
Peace out. I'm going to put my phone in the testicle koozie. What's this, you ask? It's a testicoozie.
Testicoozie?
Yes. You basically, don't tell Sweet Pea, but I'm going to get this for him for Christmas. And you put your balls in here, insert balls here, and you turn it on, and it airs them out. And you put your pee-pee right here. So you got your pee-pee and your balls, and you got a little ventilation
have that
system.
in here?
I don't know, but it's my phone holder, and they say it hasn't been used.
I hope not.
I don't believe them, but I'm sure my phone's had worse stuff on it than ball juice. Like, I don't know what else.
We're going to take a picture of that and put that on.
I know. He said we're going to do an ad. So, testicoozie for the nuts.
For the nuts.
Yep.
And there's a picture of a squirrel there with his nuts.
Squirrel trying to get a nut. You know, we're all in this world. We're just squirrels trying to get a nut.
Trying to get a nut.
Yep.
I love how the part where they put the shaft of their penis is a little cushioned.
Yeah. I was like, what? I wish I could try it, but I don't actually have balls or a penis.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't rap, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.